At what point will I have this whole life thing figured out? And the answer is never. It's given that I'm gonna be doing this shit every single day, trying my very hardest. And I say this to say, I'm gonna be doing a lock-in series where I'm gonna try and embody the highest version of myself. I'm talking Sophia on crack, literally. I'm gonna try my hardest and just be me on crack. And I'm gonna put a little bit of effort in every single day. I already know that life comes in waves, and I already know how I am set up, how when my feelings aren't necessarily aligned, that it gets hard for me to get up and do the things. But I know that my thoughts become feelings, feelings become emotions, and emotions become actions. So the first thing I'm going to do every morning is rewrite my brain. And every opportunity I get to pour into myself and remind myself of the plan and who I'm doing this for and why I'm doing this. I struggle so much with seeing, what's the word? How do I explain this? I struggle with seeing though the value in life, to be honest. I'm definitely someone who suffers from depressive episodes, and I'm learning to control the swings of it. It doesn't feel like something that I will never have. It feels like something that I will learn to have to manage for my life. That's why I do feel like I'm gonna be working a little bit harder than the average person to get the life that I want, but no one else is gonna do that, put that work in for me but me. So I'm saying all this to say that I bought myself a new notebook over there, and I'm going to start journaling and really stepping into myself, stepping into the true version of Sophia, the one who isn't clouded by all this self-doubt, who does the things that she says she needs to do. For a long time I thought that like my lack of self-discipline was entirely my fault, because I just didn't have enough zest for life, that I just didn't want enough for myself. And partly that was true, but partly it's also that I'm chemically just wired a little bit differently. And instead of trying to fit the mold of everybody else, I've started to work with myself. I know that setting a lot of plans overwhelms me, and then it puts me into decision fatigue. I can't decide what to do first. I don't know if what I'm doing is really worth the time right now, and then I end up in an endless loop where it's been hours and I'm in the same position and I haven't done any of the things that I said I wanted to do. So I've now tried to kind of grasp and step into myself in terms of like, when I have a thought, I'm gonna say it. Try again. I'm trying to do something different, as in like when I have a thought, I'm trying to be a bit more godlike, where I close the gap in between the thought and the action that's taken to do the thing. Like for me, for a long time, knowing that I needed to brush my teeth would then end up into me, the thought of having to brush my teeth would end up into me feeling really irritated, uncomfortable, because I knew that then mean I would have to move, get up, and then spend 2 minutes in another place that wasn't the place that I was currently in. Mind you, that the time was going to pass regardless, and the way I was going to feel wasn't going to change whether I went or I didn't go. Do you get it? Which turns into emotions, and emotions is energy in motion, which then transfers into actions. And I'm saying this to say that for a long time I was really disconnected with that whole process of life, and I really want to cut down the in-betweens. When I have a thought that I know that's going to serve me well, I do it. I'm also aware of my ego. I know when things are in place just to try and keep me safe, like when I get up in the morning and I know I want to go for a walk because the day just started and there's no better way to settle in than to go for a walk. But instead I allow myself to get thoughts, I talk myself out of it, and then I don't end up taking the necessary action, and then I end up feeling shit anyways, because I knew in my mind I wanted to go on a walk, but I never ended up going. Whenever I've thought about working out or going on a walk, it always still ends up on my mind at the end of the day. Like today, I have a different level of lightness to me, because I said I wanted to do something and I did the thing I wanted to do. I said I wanted to go for a walk. I got up. I didn't rush myself to fit a certain time or a mold. I just allowed myself to flow throughout the day. I knew that at some point eventually, sooner rather than later, it would be ideal for me to get up and to work my way towards the door. I didn't make it a big pressure or to overwhelm myself with the whole idea of it. I I've kind of done this thing where I've started to shift my perspective a lot, where instead of thinking of all the things I have to do, I think of how grateful I am, that how grateful I should be that I get to do those things. Like in the morning, I try and wake up and remind myself to be grateful. Like I'm grateful that I get to wake up at whatever time I feel like. I can go to bed whenever. I choose how I spend my day, whether I go on a walk or not, whether I go this way or that way, and I have freedom of choice, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like I have the freedom that I've been craving for, but it's because of my perspective at the time that I didn't know that I was truly benefiting in a way, if you know what I mean. So one thing I've learned to do is this thing that I've started, is I call it checking my privilege. I remind myself of the privilege that I have, how privileged I am to be able to not have to work, because the only person who is relying on that extra money is me. I'm privileged that that my only responsibilities are my phones and some other stuff that I bought for myself. My privilege is that I get a roof over my head with a bed that I have all to myself, in a room that I don't share with anybody. My privilege is being able to have privacy, even though obviously that stuff like that is natural. It's still a privilege if you think about it, for those who don't get that. I'm privileged to be able to have a fan that turns on, that I can turn on whenever it's too cold or too hot. I have a heater that I can turn on whenever it's too cold in the room. I have the ability to go shower however many times a day I like. If I wanted to leave right now, I could. I have so many options and I have so much to be grateful for. And for a long time, I allowed myself to wallow in self-pity and be really upset with the circumstances that I were in, kind of neglecting the fact that a lot of it is a choice to an extent. Also having to teach yourself how to drown less when your depression gets a hold of you. Try to teach yourself to swim, to hold on to that last bit of air just until you can get back up to the top again. I'm truly learning how to close the loop between my downs and my ups. I know I'll forever be someone. I'm a very sensitive person. You look at me funny, something goes da 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 da. I'm very sensitive in that way, and I try not to cuss myself or allow myself to feel embarrassed about that, because it makes me who I am. I'm sensitive for a reason. My sensitivity brings around the right kind of environments. But I'm also trying to remember and trying to learn to not to be too delusional about things. As in right now, I'm a bit obsessed. I'm a bit obsessed with someone. I've never actually spoken to this person, but I say it's obsession because it fills my mind quite a bit. It's not a lot, but it's enough for me to be like, raw, touch some grass. And a part of me starting to remember is just like social media is also a kind of a portal that should not have, I don't want to say necessarily shouldn't have existed, but it's a portal that opens a big kind of worms. Like we see a lot of people we shouldn't really have to see, and then it makes me think maybe I'm having feelings or ideas or leaning towards certain certain things. Probably partly I'm thinking, one, I'm not doing enough. I think maybe I'm spending too much time on my phone, because I know for a fact if I didn't have a phone, I wouldn't have known they existed and I wouldn't have felt that way. So that makes me think, it's like, how much of this is truly like self-inflicted uncomfortability? Like how much of this am I really doing to myself, making myself feel uncomfortable about it? And two is just like, then you have the comparison on TikTok, and you always hear it, or people just say, it's like, I see it, like see it, say it, saw it. They saw that, they wanted it, they got that. And then I'm thinking, wow, what a beautiful power. The power, what a beautiful, not power, but like the power of choice, to decide to just see something, go with it and run with it. And then I think about that, I'm just like, wow, to be that kind of person, to kind of take that leap of faith. That's the word. To take that leap of faith and just run to that idea or something. And I'm just like, I wish I was as sure as other people. I guess I say sure in terms of just like, from my experience, a lot of people they just kind of know, they just have a level of knowing within them that kind of drives them to do the things that they want to do. And part of me thinks maybe I'm not as far ahead as I think I am, or as not as far ahead as I would like to be. And I don't have to take that as like, a shot at my as like a shot of me. Does that make sense? Like I don't have to take it too personally, because oh my god, my eyes itchy. It's definitely these lashes. Yeah, they're actually just one big strip lash, but I'm saying this to say is like Sophia's on a mission to truly. I don't want to want for nothing. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to ever have to look on the internet and be like, "Right, I want that," and then not feel like I couldn't have that. The fact that I'm already hesitant about doing something about it is really making me think that something's holding me back. And I've also learned that whenever you put people on a pedestal, it makes it harder for you to kind of maintain whatever comes afterwards. A lot of the reason why people who see the baddie, bag the baddie, but then lose the baddie is because somewhere in between there wasn't, they didn't think that they were on the same level. Do you know what I mean? When you think someone is of something of obtaining, it then means that you put them on a pedestal. Once you put someone on a pedestal, it then takes them out of, you know, equal range. And when I'm not working for equal playing field, it never ends well. So yeah, and I guess I've just kind of told myself that what's meant for me will find me. And it's like, I guess in a delusional way, I can say, oh, because that I've even seen them in the first place, that is already them being placed in my path. But then part of me thinks maybe I'm just not, you know, distracted enough with life, which is interesting. I've learned to fall in love with my solitude. I love being by myself. I've always loved being by myself, but I truly fall in love with it, especially in a romantic sense. Like for a long time, I feel like the only thing I ever wanted was to be in a relationship, because I thought that's just how things were supposed to be. To be honest, I wanted a relationship more than I wanted money for a long time, and and it's still true to an extent. But in terms of like, I want a better relationship with myself more than anything now. As in like, I no longer put my value in external validation, because I've been externally validated before, and it fucks with your psyche. If the validation doesn't come from within, the minute that person says something, your whole self-image is broken. Like genuinely, like if you are not 100% you, someone will call you a narcissist and you will believe them. And you're not a narcissist, but you don't know that because you haven't done the inner work separate to that relationship. And honestly, I refuse to lose myself in something like that again. Like I refuse to be able to be swayed by someone's opinion in a way, and I think that's okay. I just know that change is coming. I'm very excited for this change, and there's so much more. The next video I'm gonna post is gonna be me actually like writing up a plan, kind of proper sitting down with you guys, but I haven't done it yet, so I kind of am just gonna pop some popcorn, probably put on some TV and answer a couple questions so I can get into my book about it. But if you guys are really interested in seeing how I'm gonna be rebranding and kind of bringing myself back up to 100, mind you, I've never been at 100. So I'm gonna be leveling myself up to new heights, and honestly, I'm really excited. I feel like I need to use social media as a way to fuel me to do the things that I need to do, because I'll be honest, I'm seeing this girl, yeah, and she's really living her life. Like she's doing the things that I'm thinking. Do you know what I mean? Like she's actually getting her shit together, taking care of her health. She's, you know, working on her mindset and her interpersonal relationships, and that's only things that I could think of. Some things I haven't really been able to physically, you know, put into work. And a lot of my mindset was wrapped around the fact that I've been unemployed for a while, and I tried to make that reason enough as to why I wasn't making moves. And I realized if I was really as resourceful and worthy of the things that I want in this life, I wouldn't take no for an answer. I wouldn't take not having that 27 pounds for the gym group to stop me from getting my workout in. I have resistance bands. I have the open outdoors that I could be running in. My dad's got weights for days. My dad's a buff man, and I tell you, he hasn't been in the gym in months and he still looks the same. So it's very much more of an effort than a placement type of thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of just going to be using social media to kind of fuel me in a way, but I need to really tread lightly when it comes to that, because we all know that these social medias are made to be addictive, and I don't want to fall into the trap of, you know, opening TikTok and then you immediately start doom scrolling. I really want to be a creation over consumption type of person, but I also know that I need to see other people living the life I want to live to really make me burn. But for some reason, for some reason, it's like, for me, I get some serious motivation from being better for someone. Does that make sense? As in, like, I already want this for me. Like, I've been wanting to be better. Like, come on now, laying in bed and feeling like shit for days on ends has never been the vibe. But when you see someone who's doing the things that you're thinking, and you also kind of like them too, like you like in the vibe as well, a part of you is like, well, I need to, you know when people say, oh, they get, you know when people say that phenomenon or whatever, it's like when they get themselves together for a relationship, or when they have a crush on someone, that's when they start to really, you know, get their shit together. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's like a mental health issue, or potentially a neurodivergent situation going on there. But it's very true. For the first time in my life, I've actually seeing someone who's doing the things I want to do, and I fucking want to do them too, but it's like really pushing me to want to do it. Like, I'm sitting here right now thinking, how can I master the push-up in the next 24 hours so I can look like fine shit? How can I really curate my image so they know I'm about that? Like, what can I do to show them that I'm on the same shit they're on, but more, because I'm just that? Do you know what I mean? Like, a part of me thinks it's crazy, but I no longer want to shame myself for anything that I feel. If I feel crazy, that is what motivates me, I'm just going to take it, because motivation, especially with someone like me, is hard to come by. If the idea of this stranger doing all that work is enough for me to get up and do it, I'm gonna do it. Because I feel like there's a line where they tell you, oh, your motivation must come from within, or you must come from here to be sustainable. But it's just like, but what if you're just not someone who runs on sustainability? What if you're someone who's got a little bit more going on, and it's just like, I need whatever I can get? If my motivation today is my outfit and tomorrow is my hair, so be it. If my motivation for the next week is that girl, so be it. What am I gonna look for motivation elsewhere just so I can fit the mold of what everyone else says? If I find little motivation, those little things, then I'm gonna do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna stop trying to put myself off. If my motivation to work out is just to feel like my bum is there, I'm gonna do that. If my motivation is to look good in a picture, that I'm gonna do that. If my motivation is to sound sexy, that I'm gonna do that. Whatever the motivation is, I'm gonna take it, because if I leave it, I end up back in that loop with myself, having a conversation of the who, what, where, when, why. Like, I'm done. I'm breaking out the cycle. I will take whatever life throws at me and use it as a way to move forward, because more time I'm probably missing half the blessings that I asked for, because I'm not doing the little things. Like, I don't know, you know, maybe the universe is talking to me in smaller increments than I thought, or is speaking to me in my language, but I didn't want to hear it because I was ashamed of that being the case. Like, maybe I am just motivated by gyal, and maybe it's sustainable, maybe it's not, but for right now, that's all I need. Because I know with me, there will always be a crash. There will always come a time when the high becomes a low, and I'm working on really curating and getting into myself, and really, you know, being able to catch myself when I fall. But it's that at the end of the day, we're all gonna fall at some point. I crash quick. I could crash tomorrow. I hopefully won't, because I'm setting in plans, setting in motivations, remembering that it doesn't really matter how I feel. It's about the motive, the self-respect. And let's be honest, that badass bitch who ain't noticed me yet. And the funniest part is, anyone I've ever wanted has wanted me back. So it's like, what's really holding me back from this is genuinely, I'm just being a pussy, honestly. I'm holding myself back because I guess the fear of rejection is enough to make me rather jump off a building. No, genuinely, the fear of rejection is so strong that I'd rather die. No, that's the thing. And that's the funny part about it, is that when I really, really want something, the chances that I go after it gets less and less and less, because the thought of not getting the outcome that I've been imagining in my head, that's crazy. No, genuinely, I can imagine sending a message right now, and if I don't get a response, which is very unlikely, like, guys, that's the thing, like, I know I'm the shit. That's what's hard about it. I know more time I'm gonna get the response anyways. But then it's like, cool, then it splits from fear of rejection to fear of success. Now if I'm successful in this, what next? Now I gotta maintain that. And then as part of me is just like, it's just like, oh my god, like having to maintain that. The thing is, it's like a part of me is enjoying my solitude, but a part of me also wants a relationship. It's like I've always wanted a relationship, you know what I mean? I'm still kind of figuring out what that looks like for me, trying to unlearn a lot of, like, trying to unpack a lot of stuff that I've learned growing up, like, especially, like, oh my gosh, I can make a whole nother video about, like, the whole origin of Sapphire and the reason why I am the way I am today and how I got to this point, and like just how confused and muddied my head is. Like, I'm a constant overthinker. I didn't think I was an overthinker because the people that originally brought the whole term of overthinking up to me, I thought if it wasn't how they were overthinking, then I wasn't the same. It's just like, it is, that's all I do. All I do is think. I don't make enough moves sometimes. But I say all this to say that if you guys want to see my next steps on my journey and my plans for the new version of me, and just, I guess, just a bit more background story on some of the things that I've been through, especially when it comes to love and relationships, which seems to be my whole existence. Like, shit, you don't do anything else. But if you want to know more about love and relationships, anything to do with spirituality and religion, locking in and advice or anything like that, feel free to subscribe, because a girl loves to make a cheeky video. And something I saw today on TikTok in the girls repost, because I'm a stalker, it was like, anything you think about every day you shouldn't avoid. And I think about YouTube every day, so I guess I need to just stop pretending like, you know, this ain't what I want, and really lock in, and trying to stop fighting my perfectionism, stop trying to want to be perfect for everything, because I'm never going to be perfect, and I should be happy about that. I should be grateful that the target is forever moving. I am grateful. I'm privileged that these are my, I should be grateful that these are my issues. My issues are thinking about, do I have enough courage to post on YouTube? Not, will my family eat tonight? Do you know what I mean? Is it safe outside? And I guess that's beautiful. But again, like I said, if y'all want to hear more from me, stay tuned. I'll be trying to be posting every day, because it's the only way I'm going to truly be able to force myself to lock in. Because whenever I'm recording content, I feel like doing a million things, but I'm also going to be learning to put my phone down. So if you want a raw, real journey of a bad bee coming from 0 to 100, stay tuned, because this is about to be a crazy flipping ride.